Welcome to
Introverts, Own Your Voice. I'm Tom Marcoux.
And I'm Johanna McLeod.
This episode is Create Your Best Year Ever. Avoid 3 big mistakes and use 3 surefire methods. This is recorded near the end of the year and we're getting ready for the new year.
Yay!
There's a number of people, considering our recent year, are saying goodbye. I'm glad that year's done.
I mean, a lot of people are basically WTF. What was that, you know?
Okay.
That year could go away and we can get a new one.
So the important thing is, if you are going into a new year, you want to appreciate happy moments. Any given day could have some tough moments in it. But there are some happy moments if you pay attention, and we'll get into that a little later. But the main thing, though, is as you look into setting up your new year, you need to look at avoiding 3 big mistakes and also putting into your life, if they're not already there, 3 surefire methods. So the first mistake we're going to talk about is we want to avoid this, to let fear run the show. Now, Johanna, tell me about a time where maybe fear took over and you didn't do something.
As you know, I like doing photography. And one day I was scanning the internet and I saw a contest for pictures in photography. And I thought that would be really fun, but I just didn't think that I was good enough.
So did that hold you back for a while, this
It
concern?
really did, yeah. But I realized if they don't include my photos in the book, I'm okay. So I submitted my photos.
So I'm glad to hear, Johanna, that you actually didn't let fear or concern or hesitation run the show. And that's the big mistake that we want to get out of the way. Because if fear runs the show, what fear does is it causes us to hide, to contract, to not do things, not take an appropriate risk. And there's no way to have the best year ever if you don't take any risks. And I talk about appropriate risks. You need to do new stuff to have new things in your life, new experiences in your life, new friends in your life. You have to do something different. You have to be different places than you were before so that you can meet different kind of people. This year, coming up, I'm going to be speaking in Bangkok, Thailand.
Ooh.
Haven't been there before. New experiences, helping new people. One of the things that attracted me to this particular conference was that it is designed to help create 1 million jobs. And I know that people, when they have a job, self-esteem goes up, they feel good, suffering goes away. I want to be part of helping people make suffering go away.
Yes.
So, new culture, different kind of audience, but I will rehearse. I'll be ready for it. I will also study the culture too. I'll read a couple of books on it and talk to people and scan different details so that I can prepare. Our second big mistake that we want to avoid is a number of people will just have this mistake of avoiding testing something in the arena or marketplace. You have to get into the arena. You have to try things out. You have to bring something to the marketplace to see, do people want it? Now, what I often do is I help clients as they're developing their brand. In fact, they come to me with maybe an anemic brand. And then I do a process I call compelling brand innovation. So we make new stuff and we pull new ideas. And because of all my years also being a film director, I'm able to pull a performance. I'm able to pull the heartfelt details, the heartfelt elements out of the person in talking with them and listening to them and asking them the right questions.
Sounds like you're a really good coach.
Well, thank you. So as we're talking about avoiding testing in the arena, as we get away from that mistake, in my process of compelling brand innovation, I'm able to help the person find things, discover things inside them. What do you really want to express with your life work? Now, the third big mistake to avoid so that you can have that best year ever is waiting for clarity before you take action. Waiting for clarity before you take action.
When is it not a good idea to wait?
Well, this is when we get into the idea of the difference between being effective and perfectionism. To be effective is to test things, try things. Like I was preparing for a topic that at some point I might do for a TED Talk. And I actually performed some of the material for 12 different people in my inner circle at different times. And they all disagreed with each other and they all had different kind of responses. But I also could feel how I felt about the material while doing it in front of 12 different audiences. Sometimes with 2 people, sometimes with 1 person. But my point is, I wasn't expecting to be clear on the best material that comes from me, uniquely me. I often talk with my clients and say, we want to find what's uniquely you. Because then that is something that you don't have to worry about in the marketplace. If it's uniquely you, then you're bringing something special, something valuable, something new and fresh to the marketplace.
I'm not sure I understand this yet. It seems to me that clarity would be something really important to have before you take action.
And this comes back to, once again, the separation between effectiveness and perfectionism. You need enough clarity to know what steps 2, 3, 4, 5 are. That's effective. But you can't wait to know the whole path. You can't wait to know that all the steps all the way up to 17, 18, 19 are before you take action. Because in taking the action, it's how you discover how far away you are from being aligned with what people need or what people want. It's in taking action that you can get feedback and valuable insight. And you can also observe what's inside you. Is this really good? Some people fall into doing things like jobs because they're good at it, but they might say, yeah, I'm good at it, but I don't like it.
Doesn't make you happy.
Right, exactly. And so the idea is that in order to find what is uniquely you, you have to be out there in the marketplace. We're looking for a matchup between what's uniquely you and what the marketplace needs and what people want and need. Not just what you expect that they need, but also they need to want it too. Sometimes having to educate an audience too much is too big a mountain, especially if you're just starting a business. So now let me summarize the 3 big mistakes that get in the way of creating your best year ever. Number 1, let fear run the show. We don't want fear to run the show. In fact, you can just say, well, quiet down fear, that voice, so it's just on the committee. Number 2, you want to stay away from the mistake of avoiding testing in the arena, in the marketplace. You want to stay away from that mistake. The third mistake is waiting for clarity before you take action. So now let's approach the other side. To create your best year ever, we have 3 methods, 3 surefire methods, and they are arranged under the word CAN. Every letter stands for a method. So C of CAN is choose to grow. You'll have a great year no matter what. There will be difficulties that will happen in the year. There'll be times that you don't like it. There'll be times you might cry. There'll be times that you might be angry or you might feel hopeless or upset. The thing though is that if what you do with your goals and your vision, if you choose to grow, you will have a good year. The second thing, A of CAN, is align as courageously cheerful. This is an unusual phrase. This phrase actually was brought to my attention by a friend of mine. He said he saw a play where there was a character that reminded him of me, and I was intrigued. This character reminds you of me? And he said, yeah, there was a character who was courageously cheerful. And I went, wow, you know me. It's fantastic. Courageously cheerful. We're not just saying, quote unquote, naturally cheerful. We're not saying reflexively cheerful. We're saying that you actually make it a choice. That yes, you feel your feelings, you might feel sad, you might feel concerned, but then you shift yourself. You develop ways to shift to a place where you can have courage and you can make being cheerful a value. People do appreciate being around somebody who is cheerful. It's only in the TV shows and the movies where the curmudgeon is okay to be around. Because that's funny, because the curmudgeon says something that's kind of off color or something like that, and then we laugh about it. But in real life, I have not met people who say, oh, I just love being around my elderly relative who's a curmudgeon. They are so entertaining. No, they say, I walk in that room and half my energy is drained away. They're an energy vampire. So to choose to be courageously cheerful, to learn how to recharge your energy, particularly for us introverts, absolutely crucial to have the best year ever. So that's the second part of CAN. First was choose to grow. Second is align as courageously cheerful. And then third, N stands for nurture. Motion brings clarity. Motion brings clarity is the principle. And the principle is that you're doing things, you're choosing to grow, you're doing things so that you can have more clarity as you do those things that help you grow. And I've had clients like this who said, oh, I'd like to be a speaker. Well, often in the beginning when I start working with them, they don't really know what is my unique topic. What is something that I would like to speak about so much, it just fills my heart with warmth and energy and joy to speak on this topic that somebody would want to buy. So somebody might have this idea, oh, it would be wonderful to teach people how to have better relationships. But what they might need to do is go out and give a couple of small speeches or join Toastmasters and try things to discover that it's not just about relationships, but you could talk about, for the business sector, you could say how to make business relationships most productive and eliminate conflict to get things done. Something like that. I mean, the point is...
I'd read that book.
Okay, well, terrific. I might write it. Right now, I'm in the middle of finishing up 4 books.
Oh, my goodness.
And soon, my business card's going to say, author of 50 plus books. My point here is this. Motion brings clarity. One of the reasons why I write so many books is my clients expect that I will be able to help them in the moment. There are times where I'm working with a client and I ask the question, so what are your thoughts about this? And they kind of don't have it. And so we give them time to kind of explore or pause, but they can always count on me to be able to help them with language because I do this every day. I write every day, which means in the moment I can suggest material because I write all the time. It's like writing and developing scripts for video and speeches and pitches. It's like I play my instrument every day. You would expect a world-class violinist or pianist to practice every day so that they have the dexterity and the ability to flow. And that's what I do. And this is what I'm talking about. I discovered what I do, spoken word strategist and executive coach, by being out in the marketplace, and motion, being out there, brought me clarity as to what people want from me. So, Johanna, I'm wondering, what are you going to keep from this conversation?
I think I really liked the point that you made with trusting in motion brings clarity. It's just that motion will help you understand the path that you need to go to.
Excellent. That's terrific. And that's our great idea about having a year that is your best year ever. And in summary, these are the 3 things, the Surefire methods that we're talking about. If you set it up that you choose to grow, so this year, this new year is the year that you focus on growing. New ideas, new friendships, business relationships, new opportunities, growing. So even if you have a couple of setbacks, the setbacks become springboards because you're choosing to grow. And then you align as courageously cheerful. You feel it all. You feel the sadness. You feel the concern. Some of my favorite movies actually got me crying because I was able to release some emotion. I feel close to those characters and that kind of thing. My point, though, you do that, but then you learn how to shift. Whether it's taking a walk or it's listening to terrific music or there's somebody in your life that you love to listen to. There are certain speakers, I listen to their material, whether it's on YouTube or from my library. I listen to them speak because that brings up my energy and helps me be courageously cheerful. And then finally, N, nurture. Motion brings clarity by making sure that we look to be effective, but we don't wait for perfectionism and having a perfect idea of all the steps. As long as you know what steps 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are, you can move forward. And then it's like rising out of a valley. And when you're up further on the mountain, you can see that there are other peaks, other choices, other places to go. And this is how we create our best year ever.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Johanna. For articles and videos, go to getthebigyes.com. That's getthebigyes.com. Also, visit yourbodysoulandprosperity.com. Thank you. We're glad that you heard this broadcast, and we invite you to
Click to subscribe.
and then you'll be supporting me and Johanna and our message.
And so now remember,
Introverts can show their best self with strategy.
I'm Johanna McLeod.
I'm Tom Marcoux.
Thank you.
Be well.
Bye.